Hello everybody and welcome to the 2021 Throw Pink Women's Disc Golf Championships. My name is Corey and I am joined by the 5-time world champion Elaine King. How you doing?
Hey Corey, I'm doing just great. I'm so excited to be here at Winthrop again with the women. So this is the second year in a row that women have been playing alongside the men at this beautiful course.
Beautiful course, tons of history, and speaking of history, we're back playing the classic hole 1 after a few years at an alt pin position. What's the play here, Elaine?
Oh, it's just straight up. And you know, it's really hard to just throw a nice straight up shot. It's not very far, 283, but it is downhill, so it plays a lot shorter, and the players just have to execute an exacting shot with probably a fairway or a mid.
Yeah, and hole 1, major, right in front of you, it's so difficult to throw that touchy, straight shot. One thing different from years past is the log halfway down the fairway that is laying down, so some of those low skipper shots aren't going to be as successful this year.
Yeah, and I think the log is far enough away that the disc should be up in the air. And as you can see, Paige was a bit errant on her initial throw, which I think you're going to find a lot of players, having trouble just getting that exact right shot out of the gate.
Yeah, it's really a star-studded cast on our lead card here, feature card, for round 1, but Paige Pierce now owns Scoggins. Great finish last year.
And you can see Owen made the Mando nicely, and
Ooh.
It tried to jump over the log,
like
but
that.
not quite enough of a hop.
You'll take it, though. Really, hole 1, just get it out of your hand, clean, and get the tournament started.
Exactly. And, if you're in position to putt for a 2, you just take advantage.
Formerly Macy Walker, this is now Macy Veladiez. She was recently married. She missed Worlds for her wedding, so fair trade.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, and Macy throws it off to the left. And again, you need to turn that disc over a little bit. It's a downhill shot. You can see Macy there with her husband, Jamie.
Yeah, should be noted, double Mando off the tee and no drop zone, so you are re-teeing if you do miss that Mando.
And Haley King.
Wow, back to back.
Yeah, she just didn't stand up. She threw that while she was still bent over, and it's never going to go straight when you do that.
Very true. So yeah, you can see here now Macy and Haley, unfortunately, are going to have to re-tee, throwing 3 now.
Well, I could see from the look on Macy's face that she was angry, which is the best way to throw this hole.
Yes.
And that is just outside that 10-meter circle, so she'll have a circle 2 putt.
Yeah, a little strong. Let's see if Haley can correct with a little more touchy shot.
And look at that. She did stand up this time.
Left it a little bit left. Curious if it's going to trickle. There is that bush. No, she has life.
Maybe a little too much life. Well,
Circle's edge-ish, maybe. Yeah.
We'll just assume that stopped instead of
Exactly.
going indefinitely. So meanwhile, Paige did make the Mando.
Yeah, kind of an odd throw, though, to the right of that bush, an angle you don't really see people playing too much.
Yeah, and that was just too wide as well. It looks like just Paige is just not settled into her game yet.
Paige from a good, 65 maybe.
And look at the wind.
No, gave it a go at least. And Paige gives it a go, if nothing else.
And actually, it's a really good wind to be going for a putt. You can just push it out there a little bit to the right, let the wind bring it back a little bit.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of weather in the forecast for today. Fortunately, as of this point, there is no predictions for rain, but the wind is picking up a little bit.
It's always windy here.
It really is.
Always. I don't think I've ever played Winthrop when it was calm.
It's so funny, too, because every year I feel like, I don't know if it's this part of the season, just missed by Macy, but there is crazy weather all the time. I'm thinking back to USDGC's when Germ won, it was around canceled. Paul, his first victory was in one of the craziest rainstorms I've ever seen. Haley, knocking it in, though, from outside the circle.
Beautiful. Yeah, she's got a really nice relaxed putt. But yeah, going back to weather, last year, I mean, that had to be the worst weather.
The rain was miserable. I can say from personal experience, I was standing in the heart of it. Not fun.
And really tough to get a clear camera shot, isn't it, when there's that much
100%.
precipitation?
I mean, not only is the lens wet, we're devolving a little bit here in camera talk, but the humidity would fog up anything. I couldn't see anything. And when it's so hot, the humidity plays such a huge role, not only for the golfers, but really everyone there.
And more on the weather, because it's just such a fantastic topic. People can talk about weather all the time. But it's so comfortable out today, isn't it?
It really is.
You know, living in the Carolinas like I do, you know, you wait all summer for just that one day in the fall when the humidity breaks.
And it looks like we're just about at it. Unfortunately, though, a little bit of blood drawn on that first hole. 2 bogeys and the double at a Macy. Owen at least staying clean.
Well, they'll have to shake that off and all resolving to do better next round. Meanwhile, we're coming to beautiful hole 2. This is a really nicely designed hole, Corey. The women can throw with wild abandon from the tee and not too much danger of going OB for most women. The second shot, however, it gets really skinny towards the basket. There's OB on the left, there's OB on the right. And so most women have the potential to get a 3, but only if they place their first shot properly and throw a confident, aggressive second shot. And that's too high. That is not going to be the placement that Owen wants.
Really, it is, like you said, a placement shot more off the tee. It's the distance is great, but the second shot is the danger zone. You know, if you go with that sidearm, hanging it over OB, it could get, you know, OB and a lot of stroke and distance.
And I like that shot out of Paige. She's turned it over. Doesn't go tremendously far, but now she's going to probably have the option of throwing left over the parking lot or right along fair territory.
Haley, another dual threat, both backhand and sidearms. See which side she plays to. Off the tree. Ooh, almost like behind the brick house, too. Suboptimal.
Yeah, I wouldn't count Haley's second shot out quite yet, though. She's got a lot of distance.
I'm so glad that we've got Macy back on the scene, too. She played so well beginning of the year, and it's just so awesome to have more and more women playing at a very high level.
And look at the distance out of Macy. She is still angry about hole 1, so she just channeled her aggression really nicely into her shot and just laced it.
Owen going rock 3, a little bit passive, obviously. She didn't get the distance off the tee, looking to just save her 4 here.
And, you know, you're not going to lose up too many strokes to the field by taking a 4. There's only, I think, the top distance getters who are really going to have a viable chance for a 3.
Yeah.
Because, as I said, you need those 2 perfect shots, and then usually you need to make a putt as well.
Haley looking like she's going to the zone, probably just going to kind of chop this sidearm over into a good spot to approach.
And as you said, she was not in position from where she was to attack the green.
Paige, though, in position.
That looks very well controlled.
Yeah, well executed. Just barely sneaking by the OB, but that is such an impressive shot. Just straight the entire time.
And Macy's got a really great sidearm that she's worked hard on these last few years, and she gets almost as much distance as her backhand. And she's got herself in really nice position, and she'll just have to play peekaboo with those stakes.
Yeah, the mozzie sticks got a little pesto on them this year. They've got the garlic, maybe. Haley hanging it out over the OB, but it is safe on that bush or the fence line. You know, you just might have a little bit of an obstructed stance, a straddle or something. Oh, and gosh, she loves this rock 3. It's like her safety valve, it seems.
And it skitters up really nicely, probably only 20 feet away, but again, just a bit of a straddle putt.
Haley looks like she probably has a clear line through one of these gaps. But Haley, she's feeling it on the putting green today.
Her putting has been really impressive. You know, she's putted confidently and quickly. She just gets up, sets her feet, and then throws the disc.
Paige looking similarly confident, at least. Her run on hole 1 was good, and now capitalizing on the birdie.
Yeah, she had beautiful placement, just a clear look at the basket, and that'll be a 3.
You can really see the course designers at work on this hole particular, because I remember the play used to be throw the roller or something just to skid into that fence line, and everybody would just putt from there. And this is a legitimate defense against that play, I think.
You always want to make sure that there are no gimmies, and I think the design of Winthrop is great, that every single shot you throw, you're worried about something. Sometimes you're worried about several things, but there's always something in the back of your mind that makes you think, and I don't think there's a shot on this course that you can just relax and throw.
No, I have the most anxiety out of any course I play, this one, because every hole could eat you up. It could just stack up as Macy taps in felt like a tap in, her birdie there. Way to get back on the horse.
And that's tremendous to see 2 birdies on hole number 2.
Hole 3, maybe, I'm going to say this a lot this round, maybe the most iconic hole on the course. I love this hole. Par 3, 389, just glide it all the way there. How are you playing it, Elaine?
Well, I'm a backhand girl. I cannot sidearm that far. If I could, I would hang it out over the OB line with something stable and park it down there. And I think that's the play we'll see from several of our athletes, but not Paige, because she's throwing, I believe, the Passion, which is an understable disc, nice safe throw, and well, so it's exactly close to the OB line.
It should be noted that it is hazard on this hole. So if you're hanging it all the way off to the left, you're playing it from all the way over there with the stroke still.
Macy's going to bring out her sidearm.
Ooh, I like that.
It's a very stable disc. And see, that's the play. You got to you have to trust yourself, though. You have to trust yourself to throw it Anheuser, directly going completely in the opposite direction that you want to go to, and trusting that disc to come back.
Yeah, Macy had a little bit of a roll away there. Going to be a tester, but I'm confident.
And Owen kind of did the opposite with her backhand. She Anheusered a very stable disc, and it's a little more dicey whether it's going to get through that bush line or not.
Yeah, the tree really overhangs on that righty backhand shot, so it forces you to really try and throw it straight at the basket, which obviously is troubling.
And that's very high. Yeah, that is it was just too high. Like right out of her hand, it was just too high because the disc was only going to travel more left with that height.
Unfortunately, yeah, it does find the hazard there. So, like I said, we'll play the same lie, but is putting for 3.
And no big deal. Just pop it in there for 3.
It must be really comforting on the tee to know that you're that comfortable from like 45 in. It's insane.
Well, that brings us to another great putter, Heather Young. Has the same. Now, Owen is usually
one of the better putters.
Similar ilk, yeah. She usually will get all those, so just barely high.
Oh, Macy. These are like strange ways to get the same score. Haley jams one in long. See if Paige can capitalize here. Oh, little lettuce off the leaves. Dropped it.
Yeah, just an almost great round of putting. All these women hit solid basket, but only Haley found the heart of the chains.
Boom. That's confidence, though. When Paige is zipping them in there, it's just it's so impressive to watch. Like on a line, crashing into the chains.
And not just that, but it's not just the 15 or 20 or 25 footer. She has exactly the same approach and stance all the way to 40. Maybe 45, she starts a bit of a jump. But what I like is she keeps the same rhythm. She doesn't change the style drastically as she goes farther back.
Yeah, very similar pace no matter what the distance is. Maybe one of the most pure spin putters we have on tour, honestly, because she's just like flinging them. I think Simon and Eagle has other spin putters and not a ton of true spin putters in the FPO division, but Paige is one of them.
And hole 4, the women want to lay it out to the left, make a right turn, and go around that Mando on the correct side, and then you go backwards again to get to the basket. It's a U-turn.
Yeah, it's one of the funkier holes you're going to see on tour. It truly is like a horseshoe U-turn. You know, you tee off, you walk about 50 feet, you look to your right, and right through the bushes you see the pin. So it's like, you know, it's only 100 feet off the tee or so.
So it's all about placement here. So these women, they've practiced the hole. They know what disc they want to throw and how hard they want to throw it.
Ooh, I like the little force over here.
That's a really aggressive line and beautifully executed.
This is one of the most punishing holes on someone who doesn't have a lot of comfortability with their sidearm. The second shot, to get into a position to be able to throw a backhand on your second shot is really something special. So look for that sidearm approach here on this one.
And you know, I haven't seen Paige sidearm very much at all this year.
Yeah, very true, honestly. She's got a good one, too. I remember last year at WNC, what this tournament was called before, she was throwing sidearms on a lot of holes, hole 1, hole 17. But you're right, it kind of has put that on the shelf a little bit.
Yeah, she's got a great sidearm. And then Owen has a great sidearm as well, but she is perhaps wisely deciding not to try to bite off too much, because if you are not exact with where your sidearm goes, you're in a world of trouble.
Haley knew it. A little low, turfed it, but hey, she's putting well. Something tells me she's going to find her way out of this.
Okay. She did have a nice window to get herself up, so she's looking at the basket and probably can get up and down for a par from there.
It really is a unique hole that bends left to right the whole way, but it really feels more like a backhand off the tee to get into the right position than a sidearm. I really like that about the hole.
Well, if you can throw like Paige and throw a backhand and turn it over at exactly the right place, then you can really put yourself in position to get a birdie. But failing that, it's really tough from back in the field to curve something around with a sidearm. It's just a long way around. And look at that, Paige
hits the mouth perfectly.
Gives herself a chance.
Haley going back to the zone, just looking to drop it in there, get her par, move on. After the drive, 4 fantastic score.
And Owen as well. And you can see, although these discs are hitting by the basket, it's sloped downhill past the basket, so they're actually skittering farther than you might think.
Good use of the word skittering. I like it.
I don't think people skitter enough.
Paige for birdie on this hole. So impressive if she can nail it. Yes.
Okay, she's getting that putt dialed
Yes.
in. It took a couple holes to get it centered and the right height, but beautiful.
I got a feeling they're going to start to fall. She's going all black. This is like warrior mode Paige, it feels like.
Well, Paige was so impressive last year at the Women's National Championship. She just ran away with it by many, many strokes. And she was in the basket.
Oh, you know she was counting that one. It bounced up. That's in 85% of the time, I'm convinced.
Oh, it's been a little bit of a tough start for Macy. She's not playing badly, but just things are not quite dropping.
Yeah, and coming back to Paige really dominating last year, I don't know if I can imagine a course that is like more set up for Paige's. I mean, she doesn't throw a lot of long sidearms, which this course really favors, but open up and rip it, that is Paige's game. And I think on a course like that, it's going to be tough for a significant chunk of the field to keep up.
Well, Paige not only has the distance, but she's got enough years of playing and enough wisdom to understand where the risk is and where to be aggressive and where not to. Whereas I feel Haley doesn't have that filter.
Sure.
She just wants to attack every hole. Now let's talk about a hole that you need to attack.
Yes, hole 5, par 5, 794, slightly shorter pad than some people might remember from the MPO layout, but just as diabolical of a hole. One thing of note, no Mando for the women.
Of course, you could not have a Mando for the women because women would have to end their tournament in the middle of hole 5. But hole 5 is so dangerous because even though it looks like, okay, there's a lot of open green grass, it all slopes towards the water.
Yes.
And it's amazing how the disc will find the water. So what you have to do is you have to throw hard, you have to throw relaxed and confidently. And if you're throwing backhand, you have to turn it over, but not afraid type turn it over. Confidently controlling it, turning it over. There's a beautiful example.
Exactly. As you're talking about it, Paige just puts it on display. That is such an incredible shot. I believe she's going mid-range there just to keep it straight, turning, and right sticky on that grass.
Owen going with the sidearm. She's got a fantastic sidearm, and that's a safer play. She can throw it towards the lake with something nice and stable, and the slope of the ground will mean that she won't skip up too far onto the road, and it just sort of dives in and lands her perfectly positioned as well.
Yeah, Owen loves those champ destroyers. Max weight, she'll let you know about it, and she just slaps them on Annie. It's so consistent, so predictable. Haley though getting a little flirty with the water. Chill.
Oh.
Whew, that was close.
That was close, but she's now in great position.
I know. It's one of those things I love the hole because you really want to push that water. You need to push the water if you want to get over on your second shot, or third shot, excuse me.
Okay, and there's another just textbook sidearm. Not quite as far as Owen's,
No,
but
and kind of in the gully a little bit.
I always land in that gully.
No.
Always. Oh, and interesting. She's laying it up.
Yeah, she didn't.
So she wants to go over the water.
I like
on the
the
next
aggression.
shot.
Hey, we saw her throw that backhand on hole 2. She's got the distance.
She certainly does.
Owen.
That's tight.
No.
That is out of bounds.
I'm actually a little surprised she didn't go sidearm there. Backhand, you want to push it a little closer to the water, but sidearm just seems so consistent.
She didn't throw it hard enough to
Yeah.
be throwing it backhand. Paige threw that hard enough.
Clearly going around the backside. She loves this play, just blasting that second shot as far as she can because there's no OB line back there. There's nothing to really, freak out about. So the simple hyzer approach for the birdie.
There's tons of room. Whereas if you go over the water, there's only one right play, and there's a lot of ways to not throw it correctly.
Oof.
So Haley's overturned that. She very fortunately comes out of that grove of trees and is safe. But that was a little bit of a heart stopper.
Yes, when it goes into that water, legit coin flip. It could hit the outside, fall in the water, or punch right through. She, found the good side today.
Macy has a much more controlled shot. That's going to hit the green grass.
That's a rip.
And she is just outside the circle, so she has got a legitimate putt for a 4.
And after, really 2 safe shots, not an aggressive sidearm off the tee and really a placement shot as her second shot. Still, she's, opportunity for birdie. Pin high, frankly.
Well, she knows the course. She loves the course.
Yes.
Macy has told me how much she looks forward to this tournament and feels that it really sets up for her style of play. Owen, she's not a big distance driver, but she is going into the water. You need so much distance to throw over that water, more than you think. It looks closer than it is.
It's absolutely true. It's really, you hold your breath when the discs are over that water every time. You could throw it perfect, and you just don't know until it crosses.
She's doing it against sidearm.
Oop. Come on back, baby.
It's coming back, but will it?
No.
Well, it's hit the bank. I can see it in the bank. But is there a line up there?
There is a line. She's going to go ahead and play this shot. Slips a little bit. Oh, gosh, but made it over.
I didn't think that was going to make it over.
Yeah. I mean, kind of like the worst looking shot of the bunch, but you'll take it after 3 OB strokes.
So unfortunately, that's going to be a big number for Owen.
And look at the advantage Paige has just with the raw distance off the first 2 shots. Man,
she just throws mid-range up there.
Yeah, she didn't quite get too aggressive, playing it safe off to the right side. I was surprised to see her not push the pin a little more.
Well, it's a little bit hard to judge, and look at that side wind.
Very
too.
true.
So that side wind, I think, maybe pushed her
Held
disc.
it.
Yeah, more to the right.
Yeah. Safety bid from Haley just a second ago, and pretty much the same out of Owen. Probably going to lead to a big number from Owen and a par for Haley, fortunately.
So Macy is looking directly into the wind, so she's got to get the height of the disc correct. She's so close. Look at the look on her face. It's like, yes.
Oh my God, she is so great. I can't get enough of Macy. She's always got a smile on her face. She's a gamer, don't get me wrong, but she's always so positive.
And Paige, after a couple of really nice aggressive putts, it's really tough to putt with the wind screaming into your face and the water behind you.
Yeah.
As well, and it's a long way behind you, but
it's there. You're staring at it. Own quality putt is going to end up with the 10, 5 over for the hole, and losing 6 strokes to Paige and Haley on the same hole.
That's very hard to come back from. You know, this tournament, there's a lot of great women playing, and you know, you can't post a huge number like that and end up on the podium.
Very true. Now, not to be overlooked, Haley had a little bit of an eagle look there. It didn't really dawn on me because Owen had thrown a couple shots, but that was a putt for 3, the little throw putt. She's kind of ripped that. Hole 6, the beach hole. One of the most iconic holes on the course. Number 2 for the day for me. But 282, slightly shorter. I love this hole. Such a true hole. What's the play?
You got to push it way, way, way out to the right and let it fall back if you're right-handed. If you're a sidearm thrower like Sarah Hokum, you throw the backhand.
Yeah.
If you're left-hander like Heather Young, she'll be throwing sidearm. But it does play a lot longer than 282. That's the raw distance, but you've got these huge trees to navigate around. So really it feels more like about 330, I think.
Yeah, I think you're about right. And any out of bounds does go to a drop zone, about 50 feet looking straight back at the water. So quite a punitive drop zone.
See, there's a good example. You skip it way, way out there, and look how fast it is.
Huge skip.
Grass is very short.
Yeah, she loves that Raptor. So overstable. Just hammer it out to the right. Drop it back in. Macy lining it up. Maybe the Rive, I think, which is one of the new Lat 64 discs. Oh, she's going wide hyzer.
Yeah, she's got a lot of spin, a lot of distance. It didn't quite get the skip. It landed pretty hard because it was so high. If it was lower, it would have had more of a skip opportunity.
Circle's edge-ish, though. She's right there for the birdie putt. Owen looking to do the same.
There. Very nice. After a 10, check up.
Okay.
Yeah. She threw something very controlled.
You know she wanted that one. Like you said, the big number last hole, getting a birdie here, such a good way to get the momentum back.
Macy usually makes these putts. That's a lot of putts in a row that she's missed.
Very
I
true.
wonder if she's just wants it too much and she's not relaxed enough when she's putting.
This is a major. This is the tournament. You know, there's Worlds and there's this tournament, European Open. We haven't had it the past couple years, but the nerves, it's the nerves, but the want is there. It's tough to overcome that pressure that all of these golfers put on themselves.
And it is so hard, as you say, Corey, when you want something badly, to relax and let your body just work with the muscle memory and not force your arm or force your wrist. You just have to relax and let it happen.
How do you get to that place, Elaine? Like as a golfer, is it reps? Is it years?
You know what? It's life experience. Unfortunately, I wish there was an exercise you could do to make you feel calm in a pressure situation like that. But there's nothing that prepares you for that moment until you've experienced that moment a number of times.
Yeah.
Talk about experiencing a moment.
Hole 7, the clown's mouth, as it's known. Triple Mando, and 2 very tough drop zones if you do miss it.
I don't think it's worth it to try to get it right through the clown's mouth. I would say lay it up just in front and see if you can put a big putt in.
Yeah, Triple Mando maybe 40 to 45 feet away. So if you're laying it up just in front, you're still circle 2. Haley says
but
no
you know,
layups.
she's not a layup kind of gal. Oh, and
that's
that
what you get?
checks up beautifully.
OB long of the basket, too, should be noted. So for those straight shots, if they have a little bit of life on them, could get danger as well.
Exactly, and I've seen, women throw a beautiful shot and it just skips OB. Again, we'll say it, the grass is very short here. They keep it super short, and Paige will hit the bamboo
Just
or
short
be
of
just,
it.
and stretch out and pop one through the mouth.
Like you said, though, that was not the most aggressive shot. Clearly kind of playing to just put herself in position.
Yeah, there's no need to take a big number. 3 is a fine number to take. I don't think there'll be that many 2s.
Ooh.
Macy's feeling aggressive. She wants to ace it.
Macy? Oh!
That was what, a foot low, Macy?
and
It went right underneath.
This is a bounty hole. There is serious money at stake for an ace here. I don't know exactly who put it up, but I believe it's $2,500 for an ace.
Whoa. Well, I mean, you might as well go for it.
I know, right?
I mean, you might as well go for it.
I know, after a 10, maybe
Uh-oh.
she's thinking 2,500, but...
Stop. Okay, that checked up.
That's almost exactly where the drop zone is. So she played it safe and still is going to have this... Oh, she's so good with the sidearm. It shouldn't be too much trouble, but a bit of a tricky shot.
Not if you're on Scoggins.
No
you just do that.
A little chipper. It's so hard to power down on those sidearms, though.
And look, I mean, Paige has got maybe a 35 to 38 foot putt there.
No, you kind of nailed it. I thought it was a little shorter off the tee, but she's right at the triple.
And it hit the basket, but did not drop.
Haley with just the routine birdie. She's kind of feeling herself right now. Birdie on 5, birdie on 6, birdie on 7. She's rolling.
And when she gets on a roll, I mean, she can birdie and birdie and birdie and birdie, and she doesn't get nervous when she gets lots of birdies in a row. She gets really pumped up when she gets a lot of birdies in a row.
It's so hard to finish a round. I finish a good round good, but I mean, just look at GMC. I think one of the highest, if not the highest rated round ever shot from the FPO division.
It was tied. For the highest rated round ever, and it was interesting because it didn't look like she was doing something spectacular.
Exactly.
She was just controlled.
We always like when Macbeth had one of his vintage Macbeth rounds. It's like, no, he just threw the shots and made the putts and he shot 16 down. What do you know? It really felt that way from Haley. Hole 8, par 5 for the FPO division, but still that 697 feet that we're used to. I love this hole. How do we play it?
Oh, I love it too. You throw your tee shot as far as you can while playing it safely. The second shot, if you've got a sidearm, you use that and you just pop it around as far as you can. Now, to get 700 feet in 2 throws is pretty tough.
Yes.
Given all the obstacles in the way and the constraints. So most women will be walking up to this hole thinking, I can definitely get a 4. There could be a couple of looks at a 3.
OB along the right side of or I believe actually it's hazard on the right side of the fairway and OB onto the left. There's a little pocket. More likely on the second shots that we'll see that come into play. But again, in Winthrop tradition, OB all over the place.
Well, because there aren't as many trees on this property, it being a former ball golf course, they've been inventive, and making these hazard areas and these OB areas makes the players think. And it's interesting, it creates unforced errors.
Yes.
Even on a hole like this where there is tons of room to land your disc, players are nervous about one way or the other, and sometimes just think about it too much and make mistakes.
Yeah, it's so easy to just be a little bit too tense thinking about the OBs and not quite execute your shot. Paige, though, probably looking to go large off the tee here.
Well, there's a goodly amount of room, and
Perfect.
she's pushing a little bit towards that OB edge, but still, good 10, 15 feet away.
It really is so often out here that the perfect shot is like 5 feet away from the out of bounds. They do it intentionally, and it works every time. Own really that same shot as Paige, but at like 65% scale. She's playing it more like a traditional par 5.
Okay, and Macy's lining up a backhand, which is being beautiful. That's beautiful. Very nice. And she's landed just on the side of that slope, really safe, puts her in a great position for her next shot. And Owen's going to do something similar.
Get over it.
Looks like she
slid into the out of bounds.
just barely. Yeah, you see, from this point, you have to make a decision. Am I going to go? Well, Haley's not going to go laying up. She's just going to
Blast it in there.
blast it as far as she can. But like that's one option. Just blast it as far as you can. And with a sidearm, that's a safe option.
Yes.
Or if you didn't get your tee shot that far, lay up short of that slope you see.
Paige, really a fine line if she wants to get in there. Roller's probably your best option to get up to the basket from there. I just don't see that it's shot in Paige's game.
No, I've not seen Paige roll unless she was in significant trouble. Well, that has a big flare.
Oof,
That
good flare.
almost gets her there, but that was a little bit low on the execution.
Macy, really the tight angle that she needs to hit this with, looking for something very overstable with a skip.
Like
Hey,
that,
she gets it.
for example.
Yeah, that works.
And you could see Paige laid up on her second shot. She's playing this for a 4. Obviously, she's practiced the hole and decided that a 3 is just not something she wants to be aggressive
Yeah.
enough to go for, but she'll have to be aggressive on that putt.
Haley, eagle opportunity. You know she's giving it a go. Pretty routine putt for her birdie, though, fortunately.
This is a weird putt. These are putts you never practice.
Yeah, bend it around the stick. No dice.
And she's not in a great position down there. I think that got almost under that tree. And Paige just trying to play a nice, safe birdie, and she gets caught up in just the last shrubbery and now has this kind of circle's edge putt.
Boom. Paige Pierce making birdies, almost like it's her job. Macy looking to match now. Both played similar holes, you know, good shots out in the middle, pretty safe second shots, and then got a little aggressive with the skip on the third. There we go.
That still was not online.
You're not wrong there, but it's in. And at this point,
it was in. That's
you'll
good.
take it.
She's getting closer. She's honing her putt in. Oh, that's
Haley.
such a shame. Well, it's an uphill putt, and it's like, how uphill do you go?
Yep.
You don't want to go low.
Yeah, no,
because it
very
will
true.
never go in.
I like to throw it at like the bottom of the band, of the inside of the band. That's what I always try to aim for. And I'm like shooting those low ones, like shoot it up into the bottom of the thing. I don't know.
Are you known for your putts?
I'm known for my uphill putts.
Okay.
Just kidding, I'm not. Macy and Paige taking the birdie, showing us how it's done. The unfortunate par out of Owen and Haley. Owen after finding the LB, frankly a good par. But now, new configuration on hole 9. I feel like this hole changes every year.
Well, thank goodness, because last year it was just such a strange hole. I like this much better. The distance 316, it's a great distance for the women. Just about all of the women should be able to get over the OB. However, the wind does really strange things on this corner. You're sheltered because of the Coliseum you see there, but then when you get closer to the basket, you start to see what the wind has to offer. And
Slow down.
it kept it well out to the right for Macy. She did put some anhyzer on it, but then the wind just kept pushing it.
This basket, or this hole, does have an incredibly difficult drop zone. It's only about a 50-foot putt, but there is a tree right in your way. Basically an auto bogey.
So Paige will have watched Macy's disc, and she'll want to make a correction. So again, you see her putting it on an anhyzer angle, and it's still pushing out to the right there. So, you know, when you watch someone throw, you never know. Well, did they throw an understable disc or? So Haley really hanging out to the right, but with something stable, and it's working, but
Well thrown. At this hole, though, really like a 3 is fine. I think there's going to be a large portion of the field not making it over the entire island. So a 3 is fine. Move on. Go ahead.
Okay, Owen is sidearming it. So she'll be taking a more aggressive look, and then she'll need to get the whole distance.
I don't know. Yeah, she really wanted more flex on that. I know she's classic Annie sidearm player, and that one just kind of came out flat and straight.
Oh, and indeed, Macy was out of bounds, having to take it from that weird drop zone.
See, it's strange, right? There's like not really a great opportunity to make it in.
It's there's your 4 kind of drop zone.
Yeah. Spoiler alert a little bit, but we played a Champs vs. Chumps with James Conrad on Monday, and he tempted a skip shot. Really getting aggressive. It was a doubles format, so he had the green light, but it was fun.
So Paige, from where the disc lies, that tree is not quite obstructing her. And she knew it, didn't she? She started jumping before it was in. She knew she had found the heart of the chains.
Yes, that was such a good putt. 40 feet maybe. Haley looking to match. Looked good.
She overcooked the last one, and she sort of underdid this one.
The slow walk in. It's always so tough. It's one of those heartbreakers, too, where it looks good like the first 75, 80% of the flight, and it almost takes your breath away a little bit when it drops out.
I know, and especially if you're throwing it and you look at it and it's like, yes, and then it's like, oh, what happened?
Yeah. So the 1 birdie from Paige from outside the circle, the 2 bogeys, unfortunately, from Owen and Macy is going to take us through our front 9. That's all we have for this video, but everyone, please join us for the back 9.